Hey friends and soon-to-be friends, I wanted to do something a little bit different today since I typically don't show you what I cook. I only been showing you me attempting to bake. But if you're like me, where your week is really busy and then you come home and you're exhausted and the last thing you want to do is cook, but then you're also so left side brain that if you read a recipe and you don't have one item, you're like, I can't make it. That's it, I can't make the recipe. I used to be that way until I started to just venture into like, you know what, whatever I have, I need to use. So I wanted to show you guys today my non-recipe crock pot meal that I make almost weekly for those days where I'm just too tired to cook, and then it typically will last me for the next couple of days for either lunch, dinner, or maybe both if I need it. So grab those aprons, crock pots, or your snacks and drinks if you just want to watch, because we are going to be cooking today. All right, so to start, I usually oil my crock pot all the way around. I know they have those crock pot liners, but I'm gonna be honest, you guys, I tried them and I just feel like I'm getting more plastic from it than anything. Like it would stick to my crock pot and it was just slightly concerning. So instead, I'll take an oil with similar like ingredients that I'm looking for my meal. So that's the one thing that I start with. Like, what is the palette you're looking for? Are you wanting more like Hispanic-esque? Are you wanting Italian? Are you just wanting a hodgepodge of whatever flavors you want? So for me, I am focusing more on Italian type seasoning. So I chose my roasted garlic olive oil to then just coat this with. And I do just go around making sure I get every inch. It also just helps with the cleaning process because the more oil I can get in here, then the less food is caked on. Other thing I do, clean workstation. So I usually just take one of my dish towels and that is where I will set everything on top of. So yes, I'll go back in and clean my counters. It's less of a mess. I get really messy when I cook. All right, next up is just picking a meat that you have. Right now I have some chicken breasts in my fridge, so I'm going to make sure to cook those, but I have used ground turkey, ground chicken. We don't eat a lot of red meat, so either way, any meat you have is just gonna be that base meal. Unless you're vegan, then go grab your legumes. And yes, I do typically cook with gloves on. For a cleaner surface, I like that better, especially if I'm handling any type of like raw meat. I don't quite care to touch it with my bare hands. So come in here, try to drain a little of the liquid off of it. And I do have one cutting board that is designated just for my meat and one that I'll use just for veggies. But if I'm having a meal where I'm making meat and veggies, I will just use my meat board if it's all going in the same place. All right, cut off all the nasty bits you don't want. And I will say also, you guys, if you haven't invested in a good knife yet, like that is the one thing that helped me a lot with my cooking, because I would used to have to saw at these meats and it was a nightmare. My wrist would hurt, and then that really turned me off to cooking. So get yourself a really good knife and you just might enjoy cooking again, or start if you never liked it to begin with. So I leave my meats as is. I do not pulverize them, nothing. I just put them right into the crock pot. I do then change my gloves because we're about to season it and I don't want my dirty gloves on my seasonings. And the key to any good meal is lots of seasoning. So in my fridge, I still had some fresh chopped basil. So we're just going to sprinkle that all on. I just might use the rest of it actually, because it is looking like it's starting to go bad. So my crock pot meals are typically, that is a lot of basil. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of basil, the smell. But my crock pot meals are typically any leftover stuff that I need to use or get rid of before it starts going bad. Next, I'm going to be adding my tarragon, just a little bit. And again, the more seasonings you have, like it doesn't have to be a crazy amount, but I do find like it just increases the depth of the flavor. I have my garlic powder, my salt. I use up the last bit of my oregano in the main bottle. And I like to use white pepper over black pepper. I don't find it as spicy as black pepper. To me, pepper is spicy, so I can't handle it, so I don't know if that's a thing or not. And then some parsley. I usually like to use fresh parsley, but I am all out, so dry parsley will have to do. And once that is thoroughly coated, right, I actually then flip it over and season it all over again. Now that we're seasoned a good and healthy amount, we're gonna bring back that cutting board because we are cutting up some veggies. So I have some sweet potatoes that you can see are starting to go bad, but they're not squishy. So I just gotta take off all the extra growth. Now, I don't like runaway potato. I don't like chunky potatoes in my food, so I do cut them up into like little cubes basically, and you just sprinkle that across. Now, this is any vegetable you have. I have used zucchinis, spinach, kales, whatever veggies you have going bad or maybe not even going bad. Maybe you're not like me and you actually use your stuff on time and nothing expires in your house. Any vegetable that you have. So this dish actually changes every time I make it. I have never made the same dish twice just because it is based on what ingredients am I working with today. Okay, we got our beautiful sweet potatoes in there now, just hanging out. And I have also, like, if I don't have any fresh veggies, freezer vegetables work just as well as too. Like, I've dumped basically anything in there and it still works. So I also have this onion. Might as well throw that in there because if you notice, I didn't use any onion seasoning powder. It's because I knew I had an onion. I, again, don't like chunky, oh, it's getting me. I don't like chunky onions, so I do like to chop them up a little bit finer, like more like diced. It's a shame you can't chop with your eyes closed. Okay, now that that's done, we're gonna bring this back over. I then like to use any type of like sauce or cream, not really like tomato sauce or pasta sauces, but this one is a mushroom gravy with cashew butter. It's just something to like add more juices to it, I guess you could say. It's better that I don't like to just put water into here or just chicken stock or whatever. I like the thickness of gravies and soups and stews and stuff. So I have used other ones that are like pesto, basil type things, but it like be thicker. It's kind of hard to explain, but usually I just look for a thicker type of sauce and I'll, you know, usually they're on sale at grocery stores and everything. I'll just stock up knowing that when I make stuff like this is what I pour it into. Or if I do make a soup or a pasta or whatever and I want a thicker consistency, this is what I use. So you just go along and pour this all in. I usually then just take the same brush that I've already used, less dishes to clean, and I just try to scrape out the rest. It doesn't give you a lot, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for it to be completely drenched because we are still, I use chicken bone broth, and that's what I'm going to like top it up with. But it depends on what consistency you're looking for this. Do you want it a soup? Do you want it a stew? Do you want it to just be enough to cook it? Because I have sweet potatoes in here and we do not like crunchy sweet potatoes, I am going to add a little bit more liquid to make sure that they're submerged. But honestly, I just take that top layer, and because the chicken underneath is seasoned, it helps to just get all the seasonings onto that as well. And since the bottom layer of the chicken is already seasoned, I'm not taking any seasoning away from the chicken. This is already smelling good and I am enticed. So now it looks like this. We're going to finish this up with just some of that chicken stock. I keep calling it chicken stock. I don't know why. This is the one I use, chicken bone broth. I like bone broth simply because it has a little bit more nutrients in it. So putting just enough to start covering these sweet potatoes, but not so much that this is gonna turn into a soup. They're all now partly, if not all, submerged. And this is where you can honestly like end the recipe. You just plug it in, put it on the low setting and wait. I think low setting is what, 8 hours? Typically a work day, right? You set it before going to work, you come home and you have dinner ready. I actually have an additional step because I have some biscuit dough in my fridge. So if you would like to elevate this a little bit more, you're going to let this run for about 7.5 hours. And this is more of one like if you are going to be home in time. If not, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You would just set it on low again when you came home for about 30 minutes. And we're gonna grab some biscuit dough. Alrighty, different camera angle because for some reason people love really short cords for crock pots. So you better hope you're somewhere close when you are using your crock pot plugged in. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a top-down view in just a moment, but essentially this is actually slightly more watery than I like it to be. So hopefully the dough will soak up a little bit more of it. But I like to then go ahead and just like break up some of the chicken. By now it should be really tender. And I either use like a hand mixer with the little paddle things attached and I'll just go along. Sometimes I can get a little crazy and it will burn me. Other times I just will take a regular spatula and go in and start shredding up the chicken because it should fall apart fairly easily. Okay, chicken is shredded. I like to use this brand for my biscuit doughs. If you guys seen my failed Valentine's Day treat, it is that same brand. but I don't use their crescent rolls. I usually use their flaky biscuits, and I haven't had any issues with those. And all you're going to do is just rip up a little bit at a time, and you're just placing it down into the crock pot. And you're gonna go along, and there's more biscuit than surface area in the crock pot, and it's okay to actually like smush it down, put it on top, like it's all going to cook just fine. Okay, all the pieces are in. You might have noticed that some are like sinking a little bit lower, so this is, again, more watery than I'm used to. The thicker you have things and the more items you have, the easier the dough is to stay on top, but it all still cooks, it doesn't matter. So I just placed that lid back on. I actually was a little bit busy, time got away from me, so I'm not at the 30-minute mark. I think I only have like 2 minutes left on this. I'm just gonna increase it to another 30. It's not gonna do anything bad to it. And I will be back to show you guys the finished product and what it tastes like. All right, friends, the time has come to eat dinner. Looking at this, oh my goodness. The smell of this, I always love it. It just smells like a chicken pot pie or like a shepherd's pie. So good. So as you can probably see, some of the juices are going, but it all cooked. So it's like not crunchy firm. If you wanted to, you could then like scoop a little bit and like put it in the broil section in a dish that is broil friendly, just to crisp up the tops a little bit. But honestly, we like the feeling of like the, not doughiness, but it feels like a biscuit. Yeah, now it is not as liquidy, so some of the liquid was absorbed by the dough. Oh, I'm so excited. I am so hungry. Like when I make this meal, I purposely do not eat lunch just because it's one of my favorite things to eat. And I'll leave that right there because typically my love does go for seconds. It is a dish that we both truly enjoy and we kind of fight over because we like it a lot. So usually I let him have like the leftovers and everything, but this is one that we kind of are like forks out trying to get to it. So the sweet potatoes have cooked to mush. That's how we like it. The chicken is nicely shredded. It's just so good. There's just something about this meal that no matter what ingredients I use, as long as I have some form of meat, vegetables, and then thicker stew, soup-esque type stuff, put that with some herbs, ingredients, and you're golden. Quick, easy meal. It always turns out good. I love that I don't have to worry about anything when I come home exhausted. I'm like, oh, I still need to cook. So let me know down below, you guys, if you tried this recipe, what you thought of it, if you have anything similar or recipes that you like to make when you have a long day at work and you don't really feel like making anything. But either way, thanks so much for hanging out today. Go and enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope something good happens to you. Bye. Thank you.